Hello, my name is Yasmin Bitagu. I moved back to Ghana 10 years ago, and since then I have been part of building a school, Savannah International Academy, and our big second baby is Africa Global Radio. Stay tuned.
It's your girl Miss Drew, your hostess with the mostest, and of course we are back again with yet another video. And today this is of course another episode of Roots, where we speak to people from the diaspora who are Ghanaian but just probably don't sound like a typical Ghanaian. Now today I have got the wonderful, firstly let me just say I am in some sort of nostalgia behind the mixing board. I don't know how we used to do radio, but I have got the lovely Yasmin Bitagu, who is with me. Let's just look at her ravishing smile, guys. Isn't she beautiful? She's just a whole vibe, and we're about to get deep into the conversation. So don't get anywhere. We'll see you guys after this. Yes, guys, I am at Africa Global Radio. This is in the heart of Ghana, the heart of Accra, in airport, and this is Yasmin. Now, I don't want to actually do your intro, so Yasmin, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and how long have you been in Ghana?
Well, thank you very much. It's also nice to be sitting next to Miss Drew. And like when you said Ghanaian but don't necessarily sound Ghanaian, I was gonna say, you're right, love. But no, it's a pleasure to be on your show. Well done, thank you. Kudos, I have to say, you inspire, and not just us, but all the young ladies out there. So I moved back. This year is going to be my 10th year.
Hey!
10 years.
10 years. Wow.
10 in October. So this is my 10th year. October,
yes.
It will be 10 years exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And October will be 5 years for me.
2013. Oh wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, this is why we're here, guys, because we're about to talk about this whole experience. So 10 years in Ghana.
10 years.
Use one word to describe it.
I would say
oh gosh.
no, I'm trying to find the right words. I would say awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This is good.
Awesome. And the reason I say awesome is because there's a sense of, and I think you'll be able to relate, because when I say this word, do you know what the word would be? Freedom.
Ah, yes. Oh,
that would be the word.
100% I can.
That would be the word.
Relate.
Freedom. And I was going to bring the awesome in that, freedom is a privilege.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by freedom? There are things that it's mind, body, and soul, right? I mean, we'll probably get to that later on in the interview, but I've lived in, not just the UK, but I lived in Austria for 10 years. So that was a really pivotal part of my life journey. Yeah. And, I remember when I said to my dad, we're moving to Ghana, my husband and I. And he was like, can you live in Ghana? He didn't even say, can you live? You can't live in Ghana. Somebody like, you cannot live in Ghana. Because immediately he thought of, how's she gonna cope if when it's light off? Electricity, running water, and it's a shame because
10 years ago is when you came as well, so
yeah. And we know we have challenges, but that's what makes it even more exciting.
Definitely.
Because where there's challenges, there's opportunities. Yes, we have a long list, but that is why we can innovate.
Yeah.
That's why, it makes it even more exciting, because, we can be problem solvers, which ultimately we need to be.
Definitely, of
problem
course.
solvers and not complainers. So
literally 10 years, what was the light bulb, the ticking moment? What was it that made you say, do you know what, I'm coming in the first place?
Okay, well, to be honest, when I met my husband, who's also Ghanaian in Europe, when we first met, literally, we hadn't even seen each other. We were doing those long calls, you know. He was in Austria, I was in the I was in the Manchester at the time, and we were like doing the get to know, and it was like the first conversation. He was like, one day I'd like to move to Ghana. I was like, really? One day I'm moving back.
Wow.
And we were like, thank God. It was such a relief that we both
wanted to
had that plan. I have to admit, I thought it was going to be later on in life, but after 20 years in Europe, in Austria, my husband was yearning. Seriously, it was physical. And we had a good life. We had I would say it was one of the best journeys of my life, being in Central Europe.
Yeah.
Totally different vibe.
Of course.
But it's not like in the UK where you work and hustle.
Which is
there,
crazy.
you have to have fun. You have to have self-care.
Oh, wow.
Weekend. Oh, yeah. When we first moved, the shops closed at 12 midday, love.
No way!
England, the weekend was the busiest shopping period.
Yes.
So, you know, even just enjoying your life and not being a slave to work was one of the biggest lessons I learned.
That is
living in Central Europe.
You have to write that. You have to say that slowly.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoying your life and not being a slave to your work.
Yeah, but things have kind of changed since then. But in Austria, that was, so what I'm basically trying to say, we had a very nice life in Austria, even though they are still a bit behind when it comes to interracial
Couples and that stuff.
No, not necessarily. No, not couples. But I'm saying they're not as. It's not as diverse as the UK or certainly London, right?
Okay.
So we could have had a very different experience, right? But we had a very good experience. Our friends and everything, they were interested in Ghana. They wanted to come. We did things with the African drum, and we were in academia. We had a very good life.
Okay.
So it's not like it was like I can't take this anymore in that respect. But my husband really knew that yes, now I've done, and he had really achieved and accomplished, you know. But he knew that it was time to go back to give back. That was always the plan, but it was it was a physical yearning, and he was like, I want to go back. I'm like, okay, not quite ready yet.
She's doing stuff live.
I was like, I need another year, right? So he came first.
Okay.
And then I followed a year. Just over a year afterwards, he came, set up everything, because you do need to do that. He would have had me in his ear. So he came first, and then, so that was the reason, that was why we came when we did, I would say.
Okay.
Because my husband, it was really time for him. After
give
20
back.
years. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it, and that's really different to most people, actually. It was, you just felt a yearning to come back and give back to your homeland.
Yeah, I mean, especially like my husband who was born here, I wasn't. So for him, acquiring all this knowledge, all this skill was the purpose was to
bring it back and make a difference.
I
like that.
So it was always part of the plan.
Yeah.
And when it happened, he was the catalyst to it happening. Yeah.
Okay, so then you've moved to Ghana now, and it's completely different to your soft life. What would you say were the biggest challenges that you had to experience? I mean, were you familiar with the language already, or all of that stuff? And I guess when you were in Austria, you still were very in touch with your roots. I mean, were you eating Ghanaian food?
Oh, yeah.
Showing people Ghana?
We were doing Ghanaian markets, love.
Hey, look at that.
We were raising money for our project at the time in the Volta region. So, like, sorry, I'm going through menopause. I've got to just do my hair.
Yes.
No. It's real. It's real, darling. So let me just pat my head. Let me just pat. No, menopause is real.
She's fine, guys. She's actually fine.
Right. So where was I?
You're doing African markets.
Yeah. So in terms of was I connected? Yeah. No, we were like, we definitely flew the Ghanaian flag in Austria.
Which is good.
When you talk about one of my biggest challenges when I arrived or over the years, I would say one of the biggest challenges is actually becoming an entrepreneur. You know, that journey, because there's so many moving parts.
Yes.
You know, I would say that has been the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
You know, and you're having to problem solve on a daily basis. But if I'm talking about coming back, I mean, like, I have a cousin platform. I mean, I did have a lot of people say, how are you going to cope? You know, how are you going to cope? Seriously, you weren't born there.
Yes.
And you know, like, you poor thing. Yes. Like, literally, like I was being dragged back. And I'm like,
gosh.
Chill.
I want to do this.
So the actual coming back and living here, that wasn't hard. I mean, even the first 7 months, we lived in the family house, like you know, in the traditional sense. And now, my husband told me at the time, and true to his word, it was very empowering and very valuable, because compound house setup, I'm talking, where it's not just you and your hubby and your 2.5 kids and your cat and your dog. No, it's everyone. It's like pipe off. And if there's pipe off, it's going to the local well and coming, like, you know, helping. You know, coming.
This is what you were doing in 2013.
Yes, like
going
there was
to fetch water.
When Ghana water had problems for a week or two, then it was, and the pipe wasn't running. So it was very practical. The sense of, I would say, the sense of community.
Oh, that's beautiful, though.
Yeah, and you know, we had an open door policy, right? So you could literally, people were coming and going all the time. There's no like, can I come round? Can I visit?
No, it's just cock.
No, it wasn't even, it was just push the door.
Oh, wow.
And suddenly somebody would be like on the veranda, right? And so that, we lived in a community, and that really kind of that was a big mind shift. I remember something as simple as butter, right? Butter. That is a lot more expensive than margarine, right? And Chale, just one taste. Oh, that's nice, and it's just gone. And you're sharing that with a whole community. It's not, you know, just that sense of community. You know, things like the things that are, you know, when you first come, you're still used to, you like your local food, but you still like your little bits and like this and that. So it was, and because, you know, I'm based in airport, that was also very interesting, just traveling every morning through the different neighborhoods, the diversity of Accra, as you know.
Of course.
You know, and you know, airport's very plush, green lines and everything, but the whole diversity. And that was, I would say, a very big point. Learning about sharing and food. You don't make food for yourself.
Oh, that is one thing I definitely learned.
Yes, you know,
everybody eats.
Especially if you live in a community house, you're not so. The spag bowl or the lasagna wasn't.
It's not just for you.
No, it wasn't
happening. For everybody.
You're cooking for everybody. You're thinking of the collective. So that was a very valuable lesson. And so you have to be, you know, just conscious. You know, and that was really valuable before we moved. And then it was just like me, myself, and my husband and our kid and stuff like that. So that was interesting. But when you talk about challenge, I mean, I love feedback.
Yeah.
So I say it's feedback. Some people say I'm Mona. No, I like to give feedback because I think feedback's invaluable.
It is valuable.
So some people, I mean, I've also been advised, Chale, your heart, or you know what you can't check. But no, I think it's really important to let people know. Okay, you know, my customer experience is not, you're affecting my customer experience here do you want to get off the phone and show me where that is, right?
But
Instead
they
of
don't
put-
appreciate that in the slightest. Like, they don't appreciate that in the slightest. Which sometimes it's just like, well, I'm trying to tell you how, you know, you've affected me, but I'm trying to show you how for the next person, don't do this. But they're just like, madam, please, just be quiet.
But to be honest, I get the patient ones, and that even they're just like, oh yes, ma'am. And I'm like, now you can really, I hope you take this, I hope you share this and act on it, because it's like,
it's just
you know,
this lady's
yeah,
talking too much.
yeah. And I really hope that they do use the information, because, you know, I am because you are, right?
Yes.
So you grow, we grow.
Definitely.
Yeah, Ubuntu. So I do like to give feedback. So I don't let it bother me too much, but it's important. I feel that it's important to give feedback. Wherever I am, if it's not flowing, it's gotta be said.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I feel like Yasmin is answering all of my questions. I'm about to ask her, what's the challenges? What's your lesson? Okay, how did you get through that? And she's just answering them as she goes. If you didn't know, she used to be like a presenter. So it's like she's already like 10 steps ahead of the game. I like this and don't like this.
Thank you.
All right,
but
cool.
I'm also, I do go on.
It's good.
Sorry.
So guys, you've heard her lessons and all that stuff. So now we're in Ghana. We've been here for like 10 years. What inspired Africa Global Radio?
Okay, so if we could just park Africa Global Radio for a second, because for the first 7 years,
Whoa. What were
I
you
was
doing?
one of the founding members of a big dream.
Okay.
And that was building an international school
Oh wow!
in
Yes.
Tamale.
Yes.
So my partner and the proprietor of that school, and her husband, and alongside a wonderful team, we were like the two core that were working on it day to day, like, and we were so 10 steps ahead on paper, right? On paper. And so for the first 7 years, I was, like I said, really working on that and developing that. And that was really...
Where did that come from?
That was, well, it was funny. I was just here in Ghana a year before I moved on holiday, because I used to come back a lot every summer. And we were at Stone Lodge. I don't know if you know Stone Lodge.
Yes.
And just my husband, we'd just gone out for a morning jog, and we were like on the veranda just eating breakfast, and then these two other walkers were passing by, and then all of a sudden my husband was bellowing, this lady was bellowing, and they were like hugging and screaming, and it was like, and we as our spouses were just watching this display. And then of course that was my partner. She knew me when I was a kid and stuff, but I didn't know her at the time. But very good, like close friend of my husband's. I wouldn't even to say friend seems too detached. Do you get me? They were at uni, they were in the same community, Tudu, Accra, and all that.
Wow.
And it was her brainchild. She is passionate about education, Sadia Mold, passionate about education, and it was, and her father is from the north, so it was her brainchild to bridge the gap between quality provision in the north and south of Ghana. And she just showed me something on her laptop, right? It was, I think then it was the architect impression of, and then we just read this text about the vision. I was like, I'm there. And she needed somebody to help her on the way, because it was only her at that time, you know, still very much, very early. So I already knew what I was even coming to do before I came. I knew I was going to be involved in this passion project. So for 7 years, when I came, we were also in the same building. So for 7 years, that's what I was working on. Yeah.
But then, like, from the beginning, when you were growing up, was that ever in your mind's eye that was something that you wanted to do?
Actually, I saw a very old tape, like about 30, how old am I now? Yeah, it was about, it's over like about 25 years ago. And it was found on the internet by my partner, actually. And I was looking at my old self, and true, it was all about the African community. It's about the black community in Manchester. It was about even my university application, where you had to submit a video, right? Because it was journalism. It was about schizophrenia, the disparity of mental health within the black community, you know, compared to the. So I definitely had this kind of Pan-African sense in me. Even at university, we did this magazine called Ebony Exposure. And it didn't hit me till later that actually this has been my life path. This whole changing the African narrative. Pushing the positive narratives on our community and all the rest of it. So in that respect, so the school thing, the education, one of the things I was heavily involved in is the curriculum enrichment program, which is all about robotics, it's all about design thinking, it's all about social drama and climate change. It's all the skills, all the soft skills that people need to acquire, and it's not just academics. I've got the certificate, you know. No, we really for us it was really important that we were going to nurture, you know, 360 holistic education, problem solvers, global thinkers, local actors. So I've always been an idealist, I have to say.
That's amazing.
So
but you went all the way to the north to do that, which is good. But what about the other regions? Are you gonna? Because now I want to know. Like, obviously, you've probably got this whole sense of fulfillment. Like, wow, I've done it. I saw it from just something on a laptop to actually seeing it come into reality. You've achieved the dream.
Well, I have to say, our first it was 2018, we opened our gates to 9 kids.
Wow.
In our lease building in Tamale. And then, you know, we're going into our 5th year now, and we have this beautiful school that my partner has literally built because she's into building and construction by accident. But it's a my son calls it a labyrinth.
Wow.
And it's based on, it's even designed on the traditional northern it's called the Zong, where they would come together and gather and talk and discuss.
Oh, no, I have to see this, guys. I have to
even the architecture, it's like amazing. My child calls it a labyrinth. You just leave a child there, and the space and what space can do.
Yes.
So it never ends, actually. There's never a moment of, I've done it. No. It's a continuous movement, and there's a great team, and now I've taken more of a backseat. I'm on the board, and I'm still an overseer of the curriculum enrichment program, but it's just taken on its own life. And
I love that.
So, and then AGR was born. And that was.
Where did that come from? From school?
We were just sitting on the balcony.
And that balcony seems to be special, guys. I need to sit on that balcony. I need to sit on that balcony because I'm sure I'm going to get some new crazy ideas that are going to come to mind.
I know. Again, we were seeing, I don't even know what time of year, if it was Christmas, whatever. And we were sitting on the balcony. This is my partner, her and her husband. And they were like, Yas, we want to set up a radio station that plays reggae.
Oh, come on!
There's not enough reggae. No stations are playing reggae in Ghana. So the first idea was reggae. It was called Roots and Culture. I've still got the WhatsApp platform. It was like Roots and Culture, and it was going to be reggae, right? And reggae and natural living and stuff. And then I thought, do you know what? As I started to write and develop the concept, I was like, do you know what? We got more work to do.
Come on.
Let's do reggae and everything else.
Yes.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
There's more work to be done. We can do more. And that's how, and then, the rest is history. So
your audience is mainly the diaspora?
No, actually, it's the global African.
Ooh, elaborate on what is the global African? Who is the global African?
The global African is whether you're in Tudu,
Aish,
Hong Kong,
Reish, or
Manchester, Reunion Island.
Come on.
Mauritius.
Hey, vibes.
Beijing. Right?
Yeah.
The Bronx.
Come on.
Wherever you are, is for the global African, someone of African heritage, and the Africa conscious.
Oh, ooh,
So,
the Africa conscious.
yes.
I like that. I like
Yes.
that. I like
The
that.
Africa conscious being, right? Which is, it's even more special because it means heart, body, and soul. You have Africa in
Within
mind,
you.
and you want to be part of the build.
Yes.
Did you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that is limitless. There's no prerequisite. It's a mindset. It's a conscious thing. You don't have to be born in Africa to
Africa.
have the Africa conscious mind. And so that's who. But in terms of demographics, we actually appeal to a young audience, and
Okay.
that was really validating because we really want to feed the young
Yes,
with
the youth are the
examples.
future.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we want to show them, look, there's African excellence.
Oh.
You know, be it business, science, the creative arts,
Every area.
tech.
Every area.
There are people doing great things. For us, as a brand, and the mission and the vision is to be a global voice.
Yeah, oh, I like that.
That is authentic, that is pushing and promoting positive narratives
Yes.
to contribute to transformational change.
I love that.
And
Beautiful.
for us, the young ones, it's so important that they see relatable examples that are positive so they can believe, I could do that too. Oh, he's like me, she's like me.
I like that.
And I don't have to drag myself across the deserts, drink my urine
That is
to
true.
try and survive for a day or two and probably die in the process,
Yeah.
or go on the high sea, because I think there's nothing that this continent or my country has to offer, you know.
That's true.
And they need to see people like, I wouldn't even say you and me, because, you know, I said our brother Sam and all that, right? But, you know, people that have grown up on the continent, that have had very humble experiences, whether you've had a humble experience or a privileged experience, it is possible.
Yeah,
and that's really important for us. And that's why we say our story, our growth, our future.
And that
you
is
know.
good. And I guess you can definitely see that through everything that you're doing.
Oh, bless.
Oh, yes. Okay, two last questions.
Okay,
two last
girl.
questions. So, firstly, let me ask this one first.
Okay.
If I was going to give you now, because you've explained you had a great life here. If I'm going to give you $10 million to not come back to Ghana again, to pack up your stuff and go back to Austria or live a life in Mauritius, would you take it?
Absolutely not. I've got work to do, Dar. And my work is here. You know, traveling, that will come again. I've had my travel days and I would love to travel again. I can't wait for that. But, you know, we're part of the mission. There's a mission. And would I go back? No. I mean, when I do go back, like, you know, my mum and my family and my sisters, my cousins and like aunties, uncles, I've got family here as well, of course. But like, they're all there, my generation, most of them are there, and my mum's siblings. And when I go back, even I used to go back to Austria because I used to do an English camp as well there, and I used to go back every year. And I remember each time I go back, first of all, please, the sun has to shine for me, because if I get off that plane and the sun is not shining, I'm like, the depression starts to set in.
Talk about that great cloud that follows you all the time.
Challenge.
The great cloud of rain,
That's
of cold, of depression.
I'm already, and the, I mean, London's my hometown, but that very, the formality.
Yes.
The coldness.
Listen.
The distance.
Yo.
And so when we talk about a sense of freedom,
it's here.
It's the being able to have a joke with somebody that you don't even know, and to, you know, or that kindness, that there's no barrier.
Yes, I like
that informality is a yes, and it's a human thing that we've lost in the West.
Definitely,
because time is money, and like everybody's moving,
and
like so. It takes longer to build a relationship, a connection.
We can't.
Yeah.
But I like that you would decide to stay. So now that you're going to decide to stay, of course, would you encourage other people outside to come to Ghana? And if you would, what is one thing or one piece of advice you would give to them?
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Don't just get up and come.
Don't just get up and come. My husband, before he actually moved, he had decided a year before and was like looking at jobs. You know, one of us had to have a stable job. Like a formal thing. And he went through that process, and the plan is so important. Just like I said before I came, I knew that I was coming to help build a school, and so a plan is really important. And the plan is not just it's not just a financial plan; it's a living plan. It's everything. It could be a building plan. The whole shebang is very important because, of course, it's very different to coming on holiday for a couple of weeks or 6 weeks or 4 weeks. We've all done that.
Yes.
Very different living here, So it's really important to have a plan. And would I say come? Of course. I said last week, we had that whole there was a stat floating around WhatsApp. Everything, inflation, interest, this, that, everything negative, all the stats. And I sent it to my cousin platform. I'm like, guys, this is the grim reality, but still come.
Yes, come.
I said, come. And make sure you're sending the kids early and expose them early. You need to be exposed early.
It is important.
I was exposed at 9, which is not even early enough. Well, when I was a baby, I don't remember that one. But
exactly.
I came for my auntie's wedding.
Yeah.
And I never forget that. And that's how it started. And I was trying to speak Ga with the kids, and it worked. I'm from Okanshi, by the way, Mokala. So my first experience was in the market, in the marketplace.
She's a brave girl. She's brave.
I think that's really important.
We love it. Oh my gosh, honestly, guys, I'm sure you can tell me and Yasmin, we can sit here and talk for days, hours. The conversation is just non-ending. There's so much to talk about. Thank you so much for inviting me to your space.
It has been a pleasure,
It's been
Miss
lit.
Drew. I tell you, it's home from home. It just feels, like.
Now, for everybody that is watching, if you can give us maybe your socials where we can follow you on this journey, where we can find you as well, where we can connect with you if they want to be in part of what you're doing. Yeah.
So, guys, who am I speaking to? What camera am I speaking to? I'm speaking to that camera. Okay. So, guys, Africa Global Radio here in the house. Please check us out on either africaglobalradio.com. You can check us out on the biggest app or the hottest app on the African block, Ayoba. Download that. We have a channel on there, and we have our micro app on there, Africa Global Radio. So the app is called Ayoba. Yeah, MTN's Ayoba. We just won an award. We're very happy about that for most liked app. And then we're on Facebook at Africa Global Radio. We are on Twitter on AF Global. We are on Insta on AF Global. And we are on LinkedIn on Africa Global Radio. And what's the other one? Is there another one?
That's all of them.
Okay, that's all of them. And we are not only a production house, sorry, wrong camera, back to you. We are not only an online radio station and global communications platform, we are a media agency. That means we do audio, we do jingles, we do video, we do social media, we do so much other stuff. So if you want to be a podcaster, come here. We'll help develop your story.
You're going to hear my voice real soon, guys.
Young team. So Africa Global Radio, it's our story, it's our growth,
it's your future.
Boom! Sister!
I'll see you guys in the next episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment.
Boom! Bye!